That's a great question, and it's something that I will speak of as an educator too, to be able to organize your ideas and express them in a written form that is succinct, that is, gets to the point. I've heard from the people on the other side, reading these proposals, that it's rare to find a clearly articulated, well-written proposal. And that requires, skills that you gain. I will never thank. I had a professor a teacher in high school. Her name was Mrs. Phillips. And thanks to her, I learned how to write. And it was a painful experience, but it happened. And I encounter with my students now at FIU, the difficulties they have expressing themselves in written format, the difficulties they have reading and comprehending what they're reading and being able to take ideas from it. And it's just, I think, something that today, 2022, and with youth as they, are exposed to so many forms of communication now, are going to have, I think, a challenge moving forward, because nothing can ultimately replace writing, whether it's, a book or an article or a proposal for a project. I can't envision there being in the future sort of, videos that you use to pitch, maybe in part, so that's been part of the reason that I now understand we've had a pretty good receptivity. But I think we're writing one right now, and one of the key questions is actually innovation. How do you feel your approach has been innovative? So it is on the minds of folks who are, have open calls for projects. And I would say that this ability to sort of mix physical, concrete forms of the city, for example, represented in a model, or through art forms like what we presented at the biennial, but also what we presented at other exhibitions. It makes it easier for non-professionals, non-architects, through these visualization tools that we have, to engage and really, be ambitious and dream a bit about how to consider small and large transformations in their built environment. So that's been part of, I think, what we as a architecture NGO have brought to the table that is unique and different. But I do think that this attitude about work that is open-ended, that has an inquiry about it, that it's more experimentation, that we're going to see where this leads without a clear-cut ending to it, like there's no prescribed answer that we're trying to find, is really difficult to sell to these entities, because in a way there's a expectation that you have a clear path, that you know what you're going to produce, that you have indicators with which to measure them. And so I don't know if we've been only successful. I think this approach actually is different and scares organizations that are, interested in funding work. So I guess I'm not going to fully credit us as being, we've had some no's along the way as well. And maybe it's more of a check on the calls that are made to allow for experimentation and allow for a bit of sort of working to find knowledge and not working to produce, a pre-established result. Yeah.